The United States is examining how to narrow core objectives in the Middle East to focus on improving military readiness and to increase the number of low-density, high-demand assets available for deployment in Europe and Asia. The objective is to prepare for great power conflict and to deprioritize the mission of counterterrorism, the driving force behind the post-9/11 wars, while still ensuring that core objectives, such as the defense of the homeland that stem from counterterrorism, are accounted for in U.S. foreign policy objectives and adequately resourced. I argue in the paper that to free up more forces and to help improve readiness, Washington should explore selective engagement, a diplomacy-first policy with Moscow in Syria about two narrow objectives that lock in the current status quo and don't necessarily change anything about how the balance of forces in the conflict are currently constructed. And these two ways to go about it are to explore with Moscow securing a formal ceasefire in Syria's northeast, where both the US and the Russians have forces, and where the US partner force, the Syrian Democratic Forces, are also present. And to do a three-part negotiation that includes the Russians, the Americans, and the Jordanians on a no foreign forces zone in Syria's south. This policy, as I said, would not alter the status quo in Syria, but seek to use diplomatic tools to allow for the eventual reallocation of certain resources now tasked with protecting US ground forces away from the conflict in consultation and in agreement with the other parties privy to the conflict, so that these low-density, high-demand assets could be deployed elsewhere and in support of broader US foreign policy concerns, while still leaving behind a footprint in the Middle East and extending out into the Eastern Mediterranean to account for that core objective stemming from counterterrorism, which is to protect the homeland by disrupting and monitoring terrorist plots in places of loosely governed areas, such as the future of Syria. Engaging with an adversary may seem counterintuitive, but it's a deliberate choice to subordinate US policy goals in Syria to broader US policy objectives. Great power competition in the Indo-Pacific and Europe regions without having to withdraw all forces, and while still retaining those adequate resources to properly pursue a slimmed-down counterterrorism policy.